I started in a public washroom and all of a sudden I had a stroke and I fell down and couldn't get up, and I was more concerned about how pissy the floor was in opposed to physically dying. And it's just some behavior that I've adopted through my other dreams. Most of my dreams are pretty abstract and not really realistic, but this particular dream was somewhat realistic, and I had some of my more abstract behaviors, like how I don't really care about the physical body because it's not really a real physical body. I'm not really concerned about it, and that's why I was concerned about the pissy floor in opposed to my physical body dying. But I had a stroke, and then I lost consciousness, and then I woke up in the far future in the back of a car. And this car was traveling along a short arced bridge, like the road was arced, and we were traveling so fast that I thought that the car would eventually like jump off the ground. It's like hitting a giant jump, and I was concerned that we'd just go over the side of the bridge because of this. But the car expanded wings and took off. It's like a car plane, and it was traveling pretty fast. And I was taken to this site just outside a large forested area, and there was this spherical aircraft, much more advanced aircraft that was for surveying areas. It couldn't travel as fast as this plane, but it could hover without too much crazy propulsion stuff going on. It just seemed like one of those things off of Oblivion, just a lot bigger and manned by humans. And this one could hold about 10 people. We could pretty much survey everything in the electromagnetic spectrum with this particular aircraft. It was very advanced, and we were outside of this forested area to survey alien activity. And I was really debilitated at the time because of my stroke, and I felt really old, and I could barely move around on my own. And I was taken into this spherical ship, and basically they told me that this is a forested area. They've deforested things to make geometry similar to how they do crop circles in crops, except they did it in an entire forested area and just cut down a bunch of trees. It was basically a huge crop circle, and we were going to survey that with an aircraft. They wanted me to remote view, so I could overlook everything that they were doing. I was to float above the ship and observe any activity that is created in response to the presence of the ship, like aliens, sneaking around that we can't detect, because they are pretty sneaky. And I was to do that. I was basically an instrument. I couldn't really do anything physically, so I might as well just remote view for people. And we were civilians. We were not military or anything. And we were the first ones on site, and we spent a lot of time calibrating the instruments in the ship. And one of the guys, there was about 4 guys in there, one of them got very impatient, and he wanted to go into the forest right away. So he ran into the forest, and I was very concerned, like, you don't just run into a forest of, aliens. I decoupled from the physical body right away and observed what he was doing so I could report it back to the rest of the guys in the ship. And he just moved like, 300, 400 meters into the forest, into an open area that was deforested by these aliens, and he got torn up by these beige or tan aliens that just came out of the forest and tore him limb from limb. They looked like those infected beings from I Am Legend. So I came back to my physical body and I reported what happened. Then I just went back out and we began surveying the area. But before I could observe anything else, the dream ended. And that's it. See ya.